Follow NairaBet on Twitter @NairaBet and on Facebook @NairaBet Online to take part in our infamous giveaways, and you too can win big. NairaBet, the home of sports betting and fast payments in Nigeria.
Football Live, the preview show, powered by NairaBet, with Barry Swain.
Hello everybody, and a very warm welcome to Football Live, the wrap-up show, a show that looks back on the action from Saturday and Sunday in an eventful weekend of Premier League action. We will start at the Etihad, where for a couple of hours at least, Manchester City closed the gap to 5 points on the leaders Arsenal with a convincing 4-1 victory over a disappointing Liverpool. City were as good as Liverpool were bad. The man of the match, undoubtedly. The performance of the weekend, perhaps, Jack Grealish. 1 goal, 1 assist, and 1 very happy Jack Grealish.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. We knew it was going to be a tough game. Playing against Liverpool, the first game, after the international break, it's always difficult. So, we wanted to start it right, this last period of the season. And I thought we started the game well, and then, Liverpool just so dangerous with the players that they have up front. So, but no, I thought we responded brilliantly, and I thought it was excellent.
Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola was also very complimentary on the performance of another goal scorer in the 4-1 win over Liverpool, Julian Alvarez, amongst the goals, and another outstanding performance from him.
Yeah, but not just the goal, the assist in the second and the third. So I've been involved in everything. So except the first action that he lost the ball to set to that, he was with the ball so clever. He's an exceptional player. So I think the club made an incredible signing for this prize for the He played for the national team from Argentina, a World Cup champion, and he's playing there alongside Messi and the rest of the peoples because he has something, and was really good for him.
On the flip side, Jurgen Klopp, the Liverpool manager, was far from happy with his side's performance in the game at the Etihad on Saturday lunchtime.
Again, today we conceded 2 quick goals. And again, I say, then it's super difficult here, if not nearly impossible, to come back from a 2-goal deficit, but it is we can make it a bit more difficult for them if you stick to the things you did in your good moments, and that was not there anymore. And that's why then the difference was so massive. Wow. So nice to be part of the team when the crowd starts, which is past. So nice, but it still happens from time to time.
4 hours of football every Saturday and Sunday on Brilla FM with Football Live.
But it always starts with us.
All the key action from around Europe's top leagues.
Wow, just wow.
A 4-1 victory for Manchester City. They laid down the gauntlet. What did Arsenal do? Well, they went and won by 4 goals to 1. A dominant performance at the Emirates for the Gunners, and a performance that very much pleased their manager, Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, what we can control is what we can do, and we've been discussing that for the last few days. After the international break, we had a lot of tricky situations to manage with a few players, and there's always a question mark how the team is going to react after that. I think they were exceptional, they were really at it, everybody wanted to be involved, and we won the game in a convincing way, which is good and the only thing that we can control.
Leeds United still in big trouble down at the bottom. It was a free hit in many ways. Not many people were expecting Leeds United to go to the Emirates and get anything, although they have won at Anfield this season. They did get a draw at Old Trafford where they led 2-0, and they scored 4 goals away at Wolves in the game before the international break, but this weekend wasn't to be for Leeds United. A 4-1 defeat away at Arsenal. No doubt about the greatest match of the weekend. It came at the Amex Stadium. 2 of this season's overachievers in the Premier League, Brighton and Hove Albion and Brentford, came face to face. They drew 3-3, Brentford taking the lead on 3 occasions, and on 3 occasions Brighton and Hove Albion clawing them back in a very entertaining game at the Amex Stadium. And, those 2 sides could be qualifying for Europe next season. We'll have to wait and see how that one unfolds in the latter stages of the season. Also challenging from the outskirts for a place in Europe are Fulham, but they fell foul of another lead that they surrendered to lose away from home. Second game in a row where they led They led at Manchester United, reduced to 9 men. They managed to keep 11 on the park this time, but they lost 2-1. A good comeback in the second half from Bournemouth, and that's a massive win for Gary O'Neill's team. 3 points, taking them away from the relegation places down at the bottom end of the Premier League table.
Follow NairaBet on Twitter at NairaBet and on Facebook at NairaBet Online to take part in our infamous giveaways, and you too can win big. NairaBet, the home of sports betting and fast payments in Nigeria.
Well, on Saturday, Chelsea lost 2-0 at home to Aston Villa in what proved to be the last game in charge of the Blues for Graham Potter. He was always under pressure, and eventually the Chelsea board decided enough was enough. A home defeat that saw Aston Villa go above Chelsea in the league table was enough to persuade the powers that be at Stamford Bridge to make the change. And on Sunday afternoon, Graham Potter was sacked as manager of Chelsea. Here is Graham Potter in what proved to be his last managerial press conference after another home defeat, another disappointing performance, and another very frustrating afternoon for the Chelsea fans.
If you look at the stats of the game, apart from the most important stat, there's a lot there that says we did a lot well. But ultimately, when we've the 2 boxes is the most important area, and that's where we've come short. First half, I thought we had a couple of opportunities. We won it back high and created a 1v1 situation, I think, pretty early in the game. Had some of the chances to attack. But obviously the goals are a blow for us because we need to do better than that in that situation. And then, of course, it's difficult then. You're 1-0 down at home. But I thought the team gave everything. I thought the intention of the team was there. You can tell by the amount of times we got in their box, the shots we had. There was a positive intent, but the scoreline's painful for us.
Another fantastic result for Aston Villa, who just get better and better. They're now into the top half. Who knows? They might just be able to catch up with those above them and challenge for a place in Europe next season. They're having a brilliant time under the former Arsenal manager Unai Emery. Here is the Scottish international John McGinn. It's been quite some week for him. He was delighted to finally get a first ever win at Stamford Bridge in the claret and blue of Aston Villa.
It's a tough place to come somewhere. Since I've been here, we've not won it, but we've always played pretty well, so we were due one today. We probably didn't play as well as what we can in the first half, but we scored a great goal. Could have scored a couple of others, and do you know what? We're running hard, we're working hard, we're sticking together as a team, and even in those bad moments you don't really feel like anyone's going to let you down, and that's an amazing feeling. We're on a brilliant run, and you just never know what can happen. We can't underestimate that. We kind of get carried away, but we need to realise how big that is. Every game here is in the league is extremely difficult, so we need big performances. It's a big week for us. We obviously had an eye on results today. Kind of keeps us in with the pack in the top half. It gets us into the top half for the first time in a long time, and hopefully we're here to stay.
Newcastle United enhanced their hopes of finishing in the top 4 and playing in the Champions League next season with a 2-0 victory with 2 second-half goals from Joe Willock and Callum Wilson, seeing off Manchester United. It was ample revenge for Eddie Howe's Newcastle United against Manchester United, who beat them by the same scoreline back in February in the final of the Carabao Cup at Wembley. This time it was a 2-0 victory for Newcastle United. They pick up the 3 points, 3 priceless points in their push for a top 4 finish. It doesn't do much to help Manchester United's quest for a top 4 finish, although that top 4 is still very much in their own hands. But they have been wobbling of late since that 7-0 defeat away at Liverpool, and another defeat will certainly give some of the Manchester United fans something to worry about ahead of a busy April schedule for the Red Devils.
You are listening to Football Live on Brila FM.
Liverpool 7, Manchester United 0. This is just incredible. The wheels have just fallen off the wagon.
4 hours of football every Saturday and Sunday on Brila FM with Football Live.
Oh my word, it's an absolute massive goal for Arsenal's title hopes here.
Wow, just wow.
West Ham United won the 6-pointer, as it was labelled during the show on Sunday on Football Live. It was West Ham United 1, Southampton 0. A slender victory for the under-pressure David Moyes as they climb out of the relegation zone. But for Southampton, it's another defeat. They stay bottom, and now they are the favourites, as they have been for several weeks, in fact, to go down. But another defeat in a game that they really had to get something out of has left them playing catch-up down at the bottom end of the table. They need to start picking up wins, and they need to start picking up wins very soon, or they will be playing in the Championship next season. Crystal Palace picked up their first victory of 2023 on Saturday afternoon, coming from behind to net a late winner to beat Leicester City at Selhurst Park by 2-1 in what was Roy Hodgson's first game in charge in his second spell as the manager of Crystal Palace. It proved to be the last game in charge for Brendan Rodgers as Leicester City manager. It was his first defeat in 8 meetings with Roy Hodgson, and it proved to be his last match as the Leicester City boss. He was sacked on Sunday. Sacking Sunday, of course. He was the first of 2 sackings. Following that, Graham Potter was shown his cards by Chelsea just a few hours later. Here is Brendan Rodgers in what proved to be his last managerial interview as the Leicester City manager.
Very disappointing. It's obviously a sore one for us because I didn't think we deserved to lose the game. But that's football in the Premier League, especially when you're away from home. You got to dig in and you got to take pressure. And I think we did that. But we weren't so good with the ball. We give it away, and I gave them the initiative in the game. But my back four and goalkeeper were excellent. 24 hours. They'll hurt and they'll disappoint. But this is our job, and it's my job to convince them again. I think they had moments of really good football today. We defended really well and with a lot of resilience. But they'll get their belief again for Tuesday night, and that's part of football.
A late Wolverhampton Wanderers equaliser saw them pick up a point away at Nottingham Forest at the City Ground. 2 teams down in the thick of the relegation battles in a Midlands derby, which ended Forest 1, Wolves 1. It's a busy midweek schedule as well. Several games throughout the week. On Tuesday evening, Leeds United against Nottingham Forest is a big match down at the bottom end of the Premier League. Bournemouth look for back-to-back wins at home. They take on Brighton and Hove Albion. There's a big local derby in the Midlands. Leicester City against in-form Aston Villa. A first game for the Foxes since sacking Brendan Rodgers. Chelsea against Liverpool is also on Tuesday evening. A big match, that one at Stamford Bridge, between 2 sides that are almost certainly going to miss out on the top 4 unless they can start hitting form very, very quickly. On Wednesday evening, a couple of games to look forward to. Manchester United looking for revenge following that 4-0 defeat at the G-Tech Community Stadium against Brentford in the early stages of the season. And West Ham United look for another win. They take on Newcastle United, who are looking to enhance their credentials in the top 4 after beating Manchester United at the weekend. So a busy mid-week round of fixtures coming right up. That's before next weekend. Some massive matches, including Liverpool against Arsenal on Sunday, and we will of course have that match covered in our 2 Football Live matches right here on Briller FM next Saturday and Sunday afternoon. So what has been a fantastic weekend is wrapped up right here on the wrap-up show. Now we can look forward to a busy midweek and some cracking football next weekend. Thank you very much for joining myself, Barry Swain, right here on the wrap-up show. We'll be back later on in the week with the preview show, looking ahead to the weekend's Premier League fixtures.
Follow NairaBet on Twitter @NairaBet and on Facebook @NairaBet Online to take part in our infamous giveaways, and you too can win big. NairaBet, the home of sports betting and fast payments in Nigeria.